Hello friends, and welcome to another piano tutorial. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to play the song Lonely by Justin Bieber and Blanco. This is a new song with a very simple instrumentation, so it's pretty easy and fun to play on the piano. This is also a song that I know a lot of people can relate to right now about being lonely and stuff. I know I can definitely relate to this song over the past few months. Not being able to see lots of friends and family during this time has been really hard for me. And sometimes just not feeling like you have anyone to talk to. I know I've felt that recently. But please, if you are feeling really lonely right now, I encourage you to reach out to someone, whether it be a friend or a family member. You can even reach out to me down in the comments and I'll respond to that. I know it can be hard, but we'll get through this. Let's get into the tutorial. Alright, this song is pretty easy to learn. You can just learn the piano chords if you want to, and it'll sound really good. But in addition to going through all the chords, I'm going to show you kind of how I heard the original played if you want to match that as best as possible. Let's get started with the verse. So the first chord that we have is going to be a G chord. So this is just going to be a G in the left hand and then a G, B, and D in the right hand. After this, we'll move to an F sharp minor chord. Everything is just going to move down a little, so we have an F sharp in the left hand, F sharp, A, and C sharp in the right hand. Then, lastly, we move to this B minor chord, a B in the left hand, and then F sharp, B, and D here in the right hand. And this chord is actually going to be played for twice as long as the other two chords. So now let's talk about how we're going to play them. Let's start out with a simple pattern. In the left hand, we're just going to play one note every measure on the downbeat, and in the right hand, we're going to play 4 beats for every measure. It'll sound like this. Alright, and that's pretty much the pattern that's going to be played throughout the entire song. Now let me show you what you can do to make it sound even a little more like the original. One thing is to add a little more action here in the left hand. It can be something like this. So you see, we're just going to be repeating this last note right before we change chords. And then we can do it here too. So one thing to note during this song is that it's played very quietly in the piano part, or the electric piano, I guess. So just play this right hand very lightly, and that'll kind of match the way the original is played. As you saw just at the end of that thing I just played, I did this little thing like this, and what that is, it's just going to be kind of a transition back to the start. So listen to the song and try to pick out where those occur. It's hard to show you every single one because they kind of occur differently every time, but one thing to remember is that we're in the key of G, so we are only using these notes, basically all white notes, but instead of F, we have F sharp. So you can narrow it down to just those notes if you're trying to figure out exactly what notes are being played. One more thing during this section is that lots of times, instead of playing all 3 notes, I feel like it's just these top 2 notes that are going to be played here in the right hand. It's kind of like that. And then we move on to the pre-chorus. But before we get to that, let me show you quickly how the intro is played. It's going to be the same chords, but played just a little differently. So let me show you that. And then into the verse. All right, now for the pre-chorus. So the chord progression of the pre-chorus is going to go like this. We start out with our same G major chord, and then after this, a different chord now, an A. We'll have an A in the left hand, and then E, A, and C sharp in the right hand. Then, back to this chord we've played before, F sharp minor, and then again to our G chord. So you can kind of just apply the same pattern and the same ideas that we learned during the verse to this pre-chorus, and it will sound something like this. One more thing to note, the second time that this is going to be played in the song, in the second pre-chorus, instead of playing it exactly the same with this A chord, we're actually going to be adding this E up here. That's going to give it a little more power for the second pre-chorus. Then when we go to our F sharp minor, we can add this F sharp up top. And then for this last chord, we're actually going to be playing a G major 7. So just adding this F sharp to our normal G chord. That's only in the last pre-chorus of the song, right before the final chorus. All right, we're almost done. This is the chorus now. So here in the chorus, it's basically the same chords that we used in the pre-chorus, but we have a G major 7 instead of a G. Let me show you. The left hand is going to be the same. We'll just play a G, and in the right hand, we'll play this, G, B, D, and F sharp. That's going to be our G major 7 chord. If that's too hard to reach or kind of awkward, you can just drop this G and play B, D, and F sharp. So that just gets played once, and then we wait 4 beats and move to our next chord. That's our A chord, similar to what we played before, but just an octave above. After this, we move to F sharp minor chord, and then lastly to this G chord. And this G chord, you see the way I'm playing it now, instead of having this D at the top, I'm playing it down beneath, like this. So the first time you go through the chorus, that only gets played one time. Then we loop back through the verse again and the pre-chorus again, and then we get into the chorus the second time. So this time when we're going through the chorus, the first time we go through the progression, it's going to be basically the same that we played it last time. And now we're going to add a little transition here. And this time we're going to be repeating these 4 notes up here for every beat, like our original pattern from the verse. So it'll sound like this. Here we'll add this E here. And then finishing off, we'll just play this G major 7 chord again. And then just end with a G. And that is this entire song. Going through some of these parts I know may have been a little confusing, but just listen to the original song and fit in these different pieces that I just taught you where they apply. All right, that brings us to the end of today's piano tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it and got something from it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, leave a comment of what song you want to see next. All right, that's it for today. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.